Welcome to PlayGame's Productive Leader Simulation. Here you can learn how to start playing with the game. Here you can change the language. At the moment we have English and Finnish language, but in the future we might expand to more languages. So here we change to English. So there are two versions of the game. The easier Best Boss game here and the more difficult Productive Leader game here. Productive Leader game is a serious learning game with the possibility to complete a personal leadership certificate. It is kind of like a university level approved digital management or leadership course, and it fulfills HR management certificate requirements. And the Best Boss game here is a convenient and effective digital leadership training for organizations. Some leaders can perform leadership certificate with Productive Leader game, and at the same time, others may play easier Best Boss version of the same game in the same organizations, of course. So here you can sign into the Best Boss game without any account. So this is also a free version of the game, and here you can sign into the Productive Leader game with your own account. But before we sign in, let me show one more thing. Here you can change the settings, like for example, you can turn down the music. The music could be disruptive for someone, so if you feel like to play without sounds, I recommend to turn it down here. But let's sign into the Productive Leader game now with your own account you got by email. And if you don't remember your password, you can copy paste it from the email here. After you sign into the game, you see these three scenarios. We recommend to start with the cash cow scenario because that's the easiest mode of the game and it's easy to start with. In cash cow scenario, there is one problematic situation per month that you need to solve from February till November. In recession, there are more problematic situations in almost every month, and these problems are more challenging than in cash cow. Example, there could be co-determination in the company, some employee might get fired, and in grow scenario situations are positive but also challenging. Example, we might have to hire more people, start new projects, and so on. And you can check out the scenarios details here. You find here every data of the company that you are playing with. Here is the accounting data from the previous year, revenue, staff costs, EBITDA, what is earning before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, staff size, and so on. Here are some scorecards, financial, economic details. Here is the budget. The simulation creates automatically the budget. Quality of working life. This is the starting point, 60%. And this 60% comes from physical and emotional safety, collaboration and identity, objectives and creativity. It comes from all of this. But of course, these all data can be customized to your company, so you can predict the future. Like, for example, how your management style, your actions affect the company's revenue, sick leave percent, and so on. You can prevent the future and simulate every kind of possible outcomes and see what happens to the company's financial and economic data. So here would be your own company's revenue, personnel, staff size, your own budget. Everything would be like your own company's data. But let's start the game now by clicking this here. And now when you are playing for the first time, we recommend to do the level test of know-how. You can do this test as many times as you want. The game is always starting with this window. But let's see the test now. So there are 5 knowledge areas that will be tested in this upper level skill test, and your maximum competence level is 60% that you can get with this test. So the first one is individual HR practices. So here you have to find the right facts for each area. You can choose as many as you want and feel that are right or important. But the important thing is that you have to know which facts are the correct ones for this claim. But be aware, if your answer is wrong, it's a minus point. Every of your choice need to be right to get the maximum level. If you are not sure about your answer, you can undo it by clicking it again. So test yourself to see how much you know and try to answer right. But now because I am playing, I just undo this. But let's see the next test. What is workplace development, quality and skills, rewarding common good HR practices? And let's see the results. So here, when you see 60%, but 0 out of 0, it means you already did answer perfectly all of that area, but not in this round. Because, of course, I played this game earlier and I answered all of this area correctly, but not now, because I didn't pick anything now. So remember, in this test, you always see the best result you performed. So it will be always 60% after you perform that area correctly. So example, this 60% of rewarding means that when you perform HR practices in the game from this rewarding area, then your competence, knowledge is 60% of it. But let's see these examples in the game. Let's click on Ready. At first you will see some information about the scenario you will play. Just click OK. So the situation is that the employees are coming to the supervisors, managers, so to you, and they are telling about their problems. In January and December, there isn't any problem. You just need to perform normal HR annual plan. And here you see the clock. In January and December, you have unlimited time to think about your plan, but from February to November, you have 2 minutes to think. It is for simulating the rush, the stress, like in real life when you have short time to come out with some solution to solve workplace problems. But you can pause the clock by clicking settings or ask for help, so the clock will stop. And here you can ask for some advice. So the professor Marco Kesti, the owner of the game, will tell you some direction how to solve the problem. It's not necessarily the best advice, but it will give you some kind of direction or idea what to do next. And okay, let's click on OK. And here you can see the quality of working lives motivators for the whole companies. And at this situation, 20% QVL, quality of working life. These change every month according how you are playing. your HR practices affect these, and you can follow them in the game all the time. And here you can find some informations, instructions, frequently asked questions, information about terms and definitions, and instructions how to play. Like, for example, at first you should play without solving any problem. So it would mean that if you are not choosing any HR practices, you are a bad manager who doesn't do anything. But let's start to choose some HR plan for January. You choose some actions from these 5 areas: individual HR practices, workplace development, quality and skills, rewarding and common good HR practices. Let's choose, for example, development discussion with employees. My competency at this is 100%. You click on it and so you perform it. So now I perform development discussion. Behind this I, you can find the e-learning material for that exact action. In this case, for development discussion. You can find e-learning material for every HR practices. If you study these e-learning materials, you can perform a little test for each one actions here. When you answer all right, you can upgrade, rise your skills for that action. If you remember, in the beginning you can get maximum 60% competence skill, but by these small tests you can raise all of them to 100%. And if this box is red, it means your competence level for that action is 0%. You can still perform this action, but then you are really bad at it. So then you will get a warning that your competence level is low and should be boosted by performing the test for this action. You can start the test or ignore and perform it, but then you are a manager who is, for example, surfing on the internet or Facebook while the employee is trying to tell his or her problem. But let me mention one more thing also, that these games, so Productive Leader and the Best Boss game also, are customizable to your own company with your own logo, with your own HR actions, with your own e-learning material. And as I said in the beginning, we can customize all data also to your company, to like personal revenue and stuff. So here would be your own e-learning material also. Now let's continue to choose supervisor's workshop. Now I click ignore, and now I click to continue, then OK. And here you can see how your HR practices affects the budgeted profit and cumulative profit and how much QVL you got. If these numbers are green, it means we are under the budget. So at least financially we are good. This QVL is okay, but if you can get more than 20,000 QVL in a month, Professor Marco Kesti will give you a thumbs up and say excellent result. This QVL counts that how much euros you will get after 12 months. Your choices are affecting the money you will get. From here, the results, you can check every month that how much points you got. And here is the ranking list from these game players. If you play within your company, you can compete with your colleagues. And in every company, there is one admin user who can see everyone's performance. And here you can see some data of the economy, like profit and loss account, business revenue, operating profit. And if you hold the mouse on these dots, you can see what HR practices you performed in that month. And, and here you can show and hide the numbers, revenue, operating profit, HR activity, QVL benefit, time used on HR functions, sick leaves. We can see that also in hours. But let's return back here later. Let's continue now. Of course, the sick leave didn't change yet in January. And now let's continue to February. Continue. Remember that you have now 2 minutes to choose, but if you click on settings, you win some time to think about your solution. So the work problem here is that the employee says that the working time management software is very difficult to use. It is time consuming if they don't know how to use it, and some have decided to reject the whole system. So think about how would you solve this problem? For example, by developing roles and processes, and maybe by performing group training. I ignore this warning now because of the tutorial. So we are performing these HR practices as a bad manager. You could also perform, for example, utilizing occupational health expertise. But of course, you can always ask some advice. Let's continue now. Let's see the result of February. So we are over the budget, but we managed to get a higher QVL capital now. You can improve this QVL to much higher, but I don't want to show you the best option. You need to try to find it by yourself. So remember, the QVL will pay you in 12 months. As you see. And the short and long absences are improved, as you see. Almost everything improved, but collaboration and identity declined. So we still have a lot of things to do. Let's continue to March. The team is feeling bad and we have lost the spirit. Let's pause the clock for a moment. You could perform, for example, group rewarding to improve the team spirit. Also, you can have the situation with ad hoc meeting, maybe group training again. Let's see the results. A little bit better, but still you can do it so much better. Continue. And from now on, I don't perform any HR practices. I just continue the whole simulation year like this. You can think about your choices at home. I just quickly show the results in the end of the year. So now when I don't choose anything, I am a bad manager who does nothing. Employees start to be unsatisfied and angry. Sick leaves are rising. Just remember to find the balance between the employee's well-being and the budget. Of course, you have to keep in mind the fact that every HR practices costs time and money, but think about the employee's well-being also. And now we are already in November. And let's see the results. Ranking list. Let's continue. And you can see when we stopped performing any HR practices in April, so soon after that, the points started to decreasing a lot, as you can see. The revenue rised higher because we didn't use money or time to anything else, just doing work. But then sick leave also rised. So you can check these all and you can learn a lot from these. And here you can get the certificate of the cash cow scenario. So in this round, we got weak grades in all of the 5 areas. But if you perform all the 3 scenarios with at least good grades, you can get a productive leader certificate. Here you can see your starting point of the business scorecards, and here you see how you finished, what you accomplished in the simulation year. And here you can see what HR practices and how many times you performed in this year. And here is your competence level of these all HR practices.